Hello, good morning, everyone, and welcome to a new webinar of Lab9 Pro. Today, we're gonna highlight the visit of Jordi and Tom to the JNUC conference in Denver, Colorado. JNUC was the conference about JAMF, all the new stuff JAMF launched in their software was presented at JNUC, and Jordi had the opportunity to visit the fair in Denver, Colorado together with our colleague Tom. And today we're going to highlight those new things that were launched for you as a user of the JAMF MDM software that is known. The webinar today is recorded and will be available this afternoon on our YouTube channel of Lab9 Pro. You will receive the recording link as well. If you have any questions, you can use our webinar chat, which is available for everyone, so you can see each other's messages, or you can send some private questions in our Q&A app, and then we can answer them after the webinar. So I would like to hand over the mic to Jordi, who is ready to present all the new stuff about JAMF and his experiences at JNUC in Denver.
Yes, good morning. So like Zeno said, my name is Jordi, and I had the pleasure of going to the JAMF Nation User Conference in Denver this year, together with my colleague Tom, who couldn't be here today. He has actual work to do, so I'm gonna take away some things that he said as well. I have some slides of his with me as well. Now, I'm going to start with a question that I get asked a lot, which really doesn't have anything to do with JNUC itself. I have the pleasure and the privilege of going to many events across the globe. And I often get the question, do you then explore? Which we didn't do when we went to Austin and Nashville, but this year was different. So Tom and I took a couple of days off, and we did visit the Denver area. So we went to Colorado Springs and the Rocky Mountains. You can see some pictures here of Gardens of the Gods, Pikes Peak Mountain, and the hike we did to the lakes. It's the first time that I did a small holiday with a colleague, which was very fun. Anyway, that is very off topic. So let's get started with some key announcements. So our JNUC started a day earlier. We went to the Global Partner Summit, which I cannot really share much about. We signed NDAs for that, so what was announced there is not for the public. But I do have to say that the announcements were very interesting. It showed that we will get a lot of new tools that allow us to help you better with your JAMF environment, which is always great. Also, there were a little bit less announcements this year than last year. In Nashville, there were very, very much announcements, and they took quite a while to get in production. This year was different. They showed off a little bit less, not less exciting, but just less features. And I do think that they will be available much sooner. So here are a couple of pictures of the main keynote. You can see the main topics there as well. It's always fun and very impressive. JNUC had about 1,800 attendees this year. So the first keynote, they have to fit everyone into one room, which kind of looks impressive. It's our 1,800 nerds all together, but they give it some concert vibes. So there was a lot of techno music going around, which you can see on the picture top right. So let's dive into the actual announcements, starting with declarative device management software updates. Now, I'm going to show you a small demo on the right. So this is now coming to Blueprints in JAMF Pro, where you can configure set it and forget it software updates. So you can indicate always update all my endpoints to the latest software update, which is very easy. It's a good addition. It's something that other MDM vendors do as well. But the feedback that JAMF has gotten was that it's not extensive enough, right? We don't want to enforce the latest major OSs all the time. We do need some flexibility there. So they did take that feedback. This feature should be in beta by the end of the year. So I'm hoping that they do a little bit more options there, and we will see what it gets, right? This is something that we already implement for our customers with scripts, so we can already help you with having this automated. This just makes it a little bit easier to configure and puts it as a declarative command in the Blueprints area. Together with this, and this is not less important, I heard that the software update mechanism, which is now under the computers tab, is deprecated. So that will be removed in a future release. Everything will be moved over to Blueprints. And it also means that the API endpoints, if anyone is using that, will be deprecated and replaced. So do keep that in mind, that you will have to do a change somewhere in the future. Next announcement was platform single sign-on, specifically the simplified setup that's available during enrollment, which is fully supported by JAMF, and it's available now. This requires an integration with your identity provider, and at the moment there are only two identity providers supporting platform single sign-on as a whole, which are Microsoft and Okta. Okta is compatible, so Okta released their update, which now allows this to work in a simplified setup. So it's as easy as just checking the box, filling in the bundle ID, adding your configuration profile to your pre-stage, and then also the identity provider package, which is Okta Verify for Okta, and saving. That's all you need to do. So if we then look at how that works in practice, this is not sped up. You can just start up your Mac, you get the device management screen. This will download the configuration profile and the Okta Verify app, which can take a little while, which you will see here. And then as soon as that's loaded, it will continue, and the very first screen in the Setup Assistant is your platform single sign-on screen. So here you can just log on with your Okta credentials, which we will demo here. And then this will do the account provisioning. So Okta only supports password sync at the moment. So you will see in the next screen, the password is already in sync. The username and the account name are filled in. And the only option the user has is to pick their user picture. And that's that, right? This is a great improvement for user onboarding, which is always good. I hope that Microsoft starts supporting Entra with that as well. Unofficially I've heard that they want to release a public preview by the end of the year. Officially, they just say they're working on it. Another big announcement were the platform APIs. This is in closed beta right now. You can request access with JAMF, and it will be a public beta, I hope, by the end of the year. So all JAMF products support API calls, but it's always somewhat different in the type of calls you can do, and you always have a separate set of credentials. So now they are unifying the credential set in the JAMF account. So you will have one. If you want to, you can have one credential for all your platforms, and they will also unify the actual API endpoints. So you will have an easier way getting started with that. This is really the foundation of powerful third-party apps and solutions and scripts. As you can see here in the demo, it also integrates with whatever microservice that uses a JAMF account. So you will be able to do API calls to the blueprints, you'll be able to do API calls to the compliance benchmarks, which is a great addition to the JAMF platform. Talking about additions to the platform, infrastructure as code was a big announcement. So JAMF kind of wants to be available for everyone. If you want to work with JAMF in the UI, you can. You can just log in and click your way around it. If you want to work with API calls, you can as well, right? And now there's also infrastructure as code, which I think is very beneficial for these very large enterprises. So if you ever worked with GitHub and you know the concept of committing something or doing a pull request, you can handle your JAMF instance in that way, which is great for large organizations. For us, this means that we can have a template for our customers and much quicker spin up JAMF tenants, right? And this goes hand in hand with a Terraform provider. If you're interested in this, all the documentation is already live, so you can look into it. The actual Terraform provider is community driven. JAMF contributes to it, so you can get started with this right now. Another thing that's available immediately is the improved AI assistant. So that was already available in JAMF Pro and in JAMF Protect, but now it got a little bit better. So you can query your fleet and devices. You can also ask for information about JAMF Protect. So if I start my demo here, we have an incident in JAMF Protect, and we can just ask what happened here. And you will get an explanation indicating what went wrong, so what threat is on that device. It takes a little while to load, but anyway, this is specific for your tenant. So you have information on the device itself, and you will be able to query then for follow-up. So you will be able to ask it to remediate for you as well, which is pretty great. Cell Service Plus, I will come back to this in a later slide, but Cell Service Plus for iOS was announced. So the same principles as for the macOS app, they are consolidating the Cell Service Plus app and the JAMF Trust app on iOS. It will be in beta by the end of year, and it will be an automatic transition starting next year. So you don't have to do anything for this to work. It will just be a one-stop shop for your app downloads and updates, as well as information about network security and risky notifications. If we then move to education, JAMF acquired Identity Automation, which is an identity provider. And the first question, no, JAMF is not becoming an identity provider. However, they are integrating this for their school environments. So here you see a single sign-on with a shared iPad that just loads for the pupil, so they don't have to put in any password or any PIN code. And this will work with major student information systems. I don't know if this will work with the Belgian SIS. So Smart School, I have no idea. Maybe, I hope so. But this will make the whole login experience for your pupils much easier. And this will be coming somewhere next year. So I'm guessing that we'll get a lot more information about this starting next year. Another change for education is JAMF Safe Internet Limit Privacy Mode. So by default, JAMF Safe Internet runs in full privacy mode, where you cannot see which pupil or which teacher did what on their device. You can just see if there was an incident. You can somewhat balance that and get a little bit of details. But now in 2026, there will be a limited privacy mode, which essentially makes it run like the JAMF Security Cloud for business. So you have full insight in who did what and who triggered which alert. This will require a redeployment of the profile. That's the easy part. But I do think this will also require a discussion with your pupils or teachers, indicating that you can now see that you whatever they do on their device, right? So that is a privacy discussion that you might have to have. So if I put everything together, these are all the announcements that's being made. Nearly everything about this is already in beta available now, and most of this should be available as general access starting somewhere next year. Let's move on to our favorite sessions. Just to give you a scope of the sessions that we followed, this is the list of all the sessions Tom and I did at JNUC. And this is my only issue with these conferences. There are so many interesting topics, and you cannot attend all of them. Even we went with the two of us, and we could not split up and see everything that we wanted to see. Yes, there are recordings, so we can rewatch them, but that's not really the same. And you do have to know that these are only the presentations. So we also do brain dates, so small get-togethers with developers, and we also talk to a lot of people on the hallway track, which is great as well. So it are very busy days. I highlighted a couple of sessions that I wanted to show off, starting with this one. Building the best onboarding experience. It's a topic that I really appreciate, and it was my favorite presentation at JNUC. It was from Misha van der Bent, who is the consulting engineering manager at JAMF. So his team is responsible for JAMF Setup Manager. He showed off how JAMF Setup Manager works. I think everyone knows that by now. He showed a beta with Liquid Glass so that it looks a little bit better on macOS Tahoe. And then also he showed off Setup Checklist, which is a new app coming to JAMF soon. I don't know in how much trouble I would get if I showed off the actual demo, so I will not. I just took a screenshot. But this is an app that loads as soon as the user hits the desktop, so before self-service opens. And it allows you to let the end user set a certain wallpaper. You can help him with the dock. You can set a default browser, which we cannot enforce, but we can guide the end user in the right direction. Same with screen recording options, for example. So this is really improving your onboarding experience, and it's really exciting to see that this is coming to JAMF soon. Another presentation, which is something that we already do somewhat at Lab9, but it was nice to hear another perspective. It was a presentation from Philippe Boucher from Amaris on how to scope to users, specifically with Microsoft Entra, which covers most of our customers as well. So in JAMF, by default, you are scoping to devices, and it's always better to scope to users, right? So we have a couple of customers where we set up their whole tenant like this. We do it ourselves here at Lab9 too. And Philippe showed off two ways of getting this done, either by the built-in method, which should be sufficient for most people, or also a script method, which goes a little bit more in depth. But then you can see the result on the right side, so you can actually see which entry groups a user is assigned to, and you can just scope there. So you can target your marketing department, your sales department, whatever, and that works a little bit differently than just scoping to a set of devices. Talking about Microsoft, this one was a fun one as well. How can we integrate our JAMF security solutions into the Microsoft security stack? A topic that's very close to our heart here because most of our users use Microsoft and most of our users also use JAMF. It's a presentation by Simon Binder, who is a Microsoft MVP, but he often comes to JAMF events. And he started his presentation by explaining all the security acronyms that are out there, right? To just kind of level the field. That alone is worth watching the recording for when it's available. So you just know what those acronyms mean. But then he went more in depth on why JAMF security solutions work better on a Mac. So JAMF Protect works better on a Mac than Microsoft Defender. And that kind of comes down to JAMF using the Apple security framework and Microsoft doesn't, right? But then we can integrate our JAMF solutions into Microsoft, and he went over that quite well. So we can connect our identity provider, we can connect JAMF for single sign-on, we can integrate with device compliance, so for conditional access, and then we can also stream all of our incidents to Microsoft Sentinel. So you do still have that single pane of glass on the Microsoft side, but JAMF is doing the actual securing and managing of those devices. Next session, and these are always fun, is JAMF at JAMF. So the JAMF team that manages their devices at JAMF. And they spoke about zero trust this time. Now, JAMF doesn't exclusively use Macs. They have Windows devices and Android devices as well. So they kind of went over on how Okta is their identity provider, how that's set up. They use Intune for their Windows devices. They use JAMF Manager for Android for the Androids, and then JAMF for all the Apple devices. And all the zero trust network access then runs via the JAMF Security Cloud, be it with the JAMF Trust app on Windows and Android, or with network relays on Apple devices. Talking about network relays, there were a lot of sessions about network relays. I think we watched 3 or 4 of them. So let's start by talking about zero trust network access. ZTNA is the modern way of doing a VPN, where with a traditional VPN, you get access to a subset of the network, or if it's set up badly, you get access to the whole network. With ZTNA, you get access to just one resource, and you have a continuous conditional access to that resource. So as soon as your device is no longer compliant or you lose access, that connection is cut. There are many ways of doing ZTNA. JAMF has their own solution with the JAMF Trust app, and that works with some older network technologies, not bad ones, but just older ones. And network relays then use the Apple technology of doing managed device attestation to check if the device is actually a real device. It uses a special type of proxy, which is optimized for performance, so your connection is actually very performant. It uses Mask, which is an HTTP3 technology, and it's built natively in the OS. So you no longer have to activate a VPN app. You can just open your Mac or your iPad. You can try and go to a certain resource, and if that resource is behind a relay, your tunnel will automatically be made, right? This is a very secure way of doing that. We have a couple of customers who are using this and are very happy with it. Now, if you do have access to JAMF for Mac, JAMF for mobile, or just the separate products a la carte, you can go to Security Cloud. You can create a new activation profile there. And if you use the network access part, you will see that the network relay part is still grayed out. It's because it's a release candidate at the moment. There's a simple form you can fill in to request access. You will get an email from JAMF indicating, are you sure you're aware that this is a release candidate and it's not finished software yet? If you agree with that, you get access quite immediately. And it works very well, right? I can see why they are somewhat hesitant of releasing this generally, but it works very well. So do test with that. If you are using ZTNA, it's a very good solution for your users. In our session, Config Profiles 3.0 already spoke about the software update feature coming to Blueprints, but the declarative device management is here and it's now, right? You should really start looking at converting your configuration profiles to Blueprints. That's the modern way of doing that. We at Lab9 use this for new tenants by default, unless there are legacy devices in there, but that's an edge case. And this is the time where you as an admin can start looking at converting your profiles, right? You could use the AI app for that. So you can use AI Assistant and ask which payload is this configuration profile in a blueprint, or the other way around. If you're looking at a blueprint, you can ask the AI Assistant if you have any conflicts, right? And of course, please contact us if you have any questions or you need assistance. We can certainly help take a look. Compliance was a big deal at JNUC as well this year, and this presentation was by JAMF, but also Henk from UMC Utrecht, which was cool to see another fellow Benelux person on stage. This talks about how the macOS Security Compliance project is being integrated into the JAMF Pro interface. So you have a very easy way to create that benchmark, be it SIS or NIST at the moment, which you can put in a monitor only mode to see which conflicts that you have, or a monitor and enforce mode to just enforce that benchmark. Doing it this way gives you an editable and updatable benchmark. So if a new guideline is published, you can just update an existing benchmark without having to do weird things with your config profiles or weird things with the scripts. And very recently, they also added the audit report. So you can now download an audit report straight from JAMF with all your settings. If you're already using compliance and you want to migrate, again, you could use the AI assistant for that to ask if you have any conflicts. I would advise just publishing the compliance in monitor only mode and see where you have any overlap. But you can start migrating now. And if you are just looking into compliance from a starting point right now, it's a given that you do it immediately in the compliance tab rather than trying JAMF Compliance Editor, for example. And again, if you need help with your compliance, please let us know. We'll be more than happy to take a look with you. I already spoke about Self-Service Plus. So on macOS, they are adding the JAMF Trust capabilities into Self-Service Plus. The security part is becoming available in beta for Q4. So you can already see JAMF Protect in there and your DNS settings, but now you will be able to see the full security suite of JAMF Trust in Self-Service Plus. And also the ZTNA part is coming to a beta in Q1 of 26. This is ZTNA via the old method, not via the network relays. App customization is also coming, and I think that's a high requested feature. You can now hide the account management part, you can hide the security part, you can move things around in Self-Service Plus. That's also coming in a beta in Q4. And we already spoke about Self-Service Plus for iOS, so Q4 beta and generally accessible in early 2026. The last session I want to highlight is this one, and this also happens. So I was honored to be able to go on stage together with two other fellow Mac admins who were both ex-Apple employees, and we spoke about our favorite Mac admin app. So this was really a community-driven presentation, very low bar. I think we had 180 attendees, which was good given that there were a lot of very interesting sessions, more technical ones happening at the same time. We spoke about a deep dive topic. Mine was IBM DataShift, and then we went over about 20 to 30 tools that we think everyone should be using in the Mac admin space. I'm hoping we can do a volume 2 next year in Kansas, but we'll have to see that, how much JAMF liked our session. So fingers crossed for that. That was the end of my presentation. I'm going to open up for questions in a minute, but I'm just going to ask the first question myself, and this is one I frequently get: is it worth it? Right? Is it worth spending the money and go flying to the other side of the world to attend the Jamf Nation User Conference? If you are a Jamf heavy customer, if you do everything in Jamf, then yes, the actual presentations are one thing, but I think the hallway track, so being able to speak people with people, is much more important, right? I had um, the privilege of talking to people from Cisco, from IBM, from SpaceX, and these are people that I don't really run into here in Belgium. So it's nice to hear their perspective as well. The brain dates are very cool as well. So you can just sit together with like 5 people and talk about a specific subject and which issues you might have and how other people solved those issues. If you are less of a Jamf customer, there are other conferences much closer to Europe. You could look at Mac at UK in Brighton. You could look at Mac Sysadmin in Sweden, which are both great. And of course, Jamf has smaller events here in Europe as well, such as Jamf Nation Live in London and in Munich, or the even smaller editions in Amsterdam or in Paris. So yes, it's worth it if you're a Jamf customer. Yes, you should try and attend these conferences as a Mac admin. But so yeah, so I don't know if there's anything else.
Well, sorry, my mic wasn't open. Yeah, first of all, thank a lot of showing all the tech updates and things about managing and security at JNUC. It looks amazing. Also, it's already available. Some things in beta. What's wonderful. So, if some people have some questions, I see already some questions in the chat box or in the Q&A pod. Just drop them and we will answer them live. Maybe take a look to the first question. That's from Davey. When is Jamf Connect going to support stronger authentication methods that just a password sync from an external IDP passwordless?
That's a very good question. So first and foremost, Apple doesn't support true passwordless authentication. A Mac will always require some form of password or PIN code. Um, Together with Apple doesn't allow login window replacements such as Jamf Connect to do other authentication than a password. So you will not have a passwordless authentication flow there. You If you are using Okta or Microsoft as your identity provider, I think switching to platform single sign-on when it's available for Microsoft or right now for Okta is a good thing to look into. You will still have to set a password, but you will be able to more automate your flows there, right? For example, Microsoft supports secure enclave mode, so you can have a 4-digit PIN and require Touch ID authentication instead, or a YubiKey or whatever that's much more integrated in the system than you would be able to achieve with tools like Jamf Connect.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you for the answer, Jody. So hopefully the answer was clear also for Davey. So if you want to reply on it, just drop an extra question in our Q&A. Another question, you and Tom attended a lot of session in Denver.
Yep.
We saw that in the overview, looks amazing. Which key announcements or trends do you believe that will have the biggest impact for organizations in the upcoming year or the upcoming periods?
So I'm looking at it from a service provider perspective. The whole infrastructure as code allows us to much faster make edits and much safer. We also have a rollback feature then. I think that's a big one for the very large organizations, right? So infrastructure as code is a thing, automation is a thing. You as an admin, you want to click as less as possible. But for the not so big organizations, I think the AI assistant actually is pretty great. So now you can actually ask it meaningful questions and get a good reply on what you should do, or even just let it do its thing if that's something for you. So I think those two are really what stood out this year.
Yeah. Okay. Wonderful. Because the list was very long, so that's the reason for the question, I think. Of those many innovations that we have, like DDM and Self-Service Plus, it sounds promising. In your view, what will make the real difference when they will roll out in the field?
DDM is a very hot topic, and Apple has been speaking about declarative device management for years now, and it's finally here. I think most modern MDMs now support it. It's a whole different way of communicating to your device, right? You declare which state that the device has to be in, and then the device just does its job and returns if it's done. I think you will be able to do much broader configurations and have to think less about how you configure stuff in that regard. Also, like if you have employees switching, if you do a declaration and you say my sales team has to look like that, my IT team has to look like that, the device already knows what it needs to do. So that's a great improvement there. I think
Yeah.
that's the main takeaway there.
Yeah, the main takeaway. Okay, wonderful. Now it was second time we were attending JNUC.
Third.
Oh, the third. Yeah, it
Yep.
was third already. Okay, time flies. um, we're not just watching it from the distance. We are attending in live. You saw the sessions that Tom and Jordi had followed. How does that experience of visiting live? You said it was worth or it wasn't worth to go, but how can we improve our service to our customers by visiting JNUC? What is for you the big difference by attending it live?
I kind of take pride in knowing as many people as I can at JAMF, and I still don't know everyone. But this is the only place where you have that many JAMF employees. So, be it leadership, be it developers or support agents together, where you can just ask questions
Hmm.
and hearing from the others, right? Even for us as partners, I, our sales team won't like this, but I love our competitors. I love talking to our competitors, just hearing how they do stuff and how we do stuff, and then kind of get to a better solution together is really great. So I've been talking to JAMF service providers from France and from the Netherlands in Denver, which is odd, but anyway, and I did get some meaningful input there on things that we can improve as well. So that's always good stuff.
Okay. Okay. Great. So also for you guys that follow or watching the recording, you know why we go to JNUC. And maybe to close those sessions, there's a last one because you have also another session after this. After everything you've seen of you have learned, what is the main step or the step that IT teams needs to take today or tomorrow in their IT environment to make their Apple ecosystem stronger?
Look into declarative device management. Start converting your legacy by now configuration profiles and start rolling out DDM as default for all your new deployments. I think that's the main
Hmm.
takeaway. And for me personally, look into your onboarding experience. Make that's works as good as it can get. I think many end users will appreciate you putting that extra effort in right there.
Yeah. Okay, great. Wonderful. I think that is an amazing takeaway on the end of this webinar. So maybe it's time also to wrap up so
Yep.
you can jump into the next meeting you have. I want to thank everyone who is attending this webinar and who will rewatch this recording. The recording will be available by this noon, this afternoon. Share this with colleagues. Share this in your own network. Share this with people that struggle with some things. Mention absolutely Jordi in the conversation. And if you have any needs or needs anything from our IT department of Jordi, please contact us.
Yep.
It can through our website or directly by hotline. I think that is the fastest way.
We're everywhere. So yes, if you have specific technical questions, please do contact our hotline. But if you have a question for me, I'm on Slack, I'm on Teams, I'm available by mail. Please don't call me. But yeah, reach out and we'll be certainly to take a look and help you out.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Jody, thank you very much for the presentation today. I want to thank all the attendees of today. Thank you very much. Take care today because it starts raining
Yep.
very hard here in Kortrijk. Maybe you hear it through the mics. Take care today by the storm of Benjamin. Take care. Hopefully, we'll see each other next time. That's going to be in November, the 18th,
Yep.
from my head. We're going to focus on education
Yep.
parts, and that's a webinar where we're going to highlight the new stuff for education and JAMF. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day and see you next time.
Thank you. See you.